Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You will see little tendrils of smoke from the incense over there. But what do you not see? Oh, right, my tea. Okay, yeah, you don't see my tea, which today drinking a Earl Grey with honey. I really don't need the kick of an English or Irish breakfast this morning, and well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or the elephant on my coffee table. It is colossal, and I did get my Moldavite back just recently. Marilyn over at the Healing Stone finished repairing it. There was a new Herkimer diamond put into the paired with it, and she wrapped the hell out of it. And I really wish I'd grabbed it and shown it. Well, you know what? Why don't I go ahead and do that now? I will just set this down right here, and I will be right back. Let's see what we got. Now, just to clarify, I lost my Herkimer diamond on Halloween. It was kind of strange. It fell out somewhere. I don't know where, but this was the end result. As you can see, the Herkimer diamond is behind it, and it's wrapped 9 ways to sundown. And I've got my Moldavite right there in the center, and I do love it. It's good to have it back around my neck, and I'm ready to rock. So, on a couple notes before I begin here. First, I want to thank every one of you. Every one of you who sent good vibes, lit candles, did meditations, offered prayers or whatever for my dad. My dad is 71 years old. He recently underwent a triple bypass surgery that was desperately needed. And he is, as my mom tells me, he is looking better and better by the day. The one thing that he wasn't really a fan of was they had to cut his beard to the baseline of his neck because it was really, really long. And I was like, damn, I really wish I'd seen a picture of that. But anyway, thank you so much. Any continued prayers into his recovery would be well appreciated. And if you wanted to stop now, I would not blame you. As far as I'm concerned, your job is done. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate it from all of you. Thank you so much. For a little while, these readings will be weekly. And let me tell you why. It's because, number one, well, the schedule has changed and is undergoing further changes. So, as of right now, instead of just doing a room casting like I would any other Wednesday, I'm going to do a, not really a full reading, but something kind of close to it. Room casting will still be involved. However, if you would like a full reading, I do still offer those, and if you've purchased them yourself or you've taken part in anything, I know a few people who still are up to like 5 readings. Feel free to ask for them at any time, and at my earliest possible moment, I will go ahead and get them into the works for you. But while I was at the Healing Stone, I did pick this up because this cloth was, I just kind of saw it on accident, and it's listed as an altar cloth, but it's far too big for my altar. My altar is very, very small, and I was like, I just met my new tarot cloth. Hello, baby. And they allowed me to take it out and have a look at it. Now, some of the runes I do not recognize, so I think these may be Anglo-Saxon, or a mix of Anglo-Saxon and Old Norse. But it's beautiful. It has beautiful embroidery, and I was like, this is my new one right here. And I really, really think it's wonderful. And of course, I got my little Christmas gift from Moots here, and we're gonna jump right into this bad boy. And one more thing, quitting vaping has not been hard. It has just been weird. Like in fact, it's harder to quit smoking than it is to quit vaping. I'm not going to lie to you. It was even harder quitting Wild Cherry Pepsi many years ago. So, take from it what you will. That is, the situation we're going through right now is the cravings just hit at really oddball times. They don't hit at my normal times. Like right now, it's not hitting me. So, we're good. And feels good. And already, thanks to changing the diet, I have slimmed down some more. These pants are kind of big on me now. I'm looking for a 36 pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, I'm going to move the tea out of the way for you. Let's get right down into it. This is going to be for the week. So, let's start with you. Who are you this week? What are you doing this week? How do we get things done in a much better way this week? And we're going to have to be a little more diplomatic. We're going to have to come together and decide, for good or ill, what it is, what changes we need to make. Lots been going on lately. And I have heard sentiments from everyone in my various communities that want, certain changes made to certain things. And some of them are good, and some of them can be a little pie in the sky thinking. I'm not above that. I've done that myself. However, we're going to have to learn a little bit about compromise. So we may not always get what we want, but more often than not we get what we need. And in light of the recent tabletop RPG thing that's been going on, we've kind of gotten that, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I just haven't been making video after video after video on it because, quite frankly, I think I've said all that needs to be said. The old OGL needs to be irrevocable. The old Open Gaming License needs to be irrevocable, and that's really the only good way forward. It's the only way to ensure that we don't get screwed out of the deal. So, that's just my thoughts and opinions. Of course, what's going on in your life? What kind of compromises do you need to make? What kind of, where can you meet in the middle on things? Where can you shake hands on things? Where I suggest you start? What do you have in common? That's where I suggest you start. Because what you have in common is going to be the most solid foundation you can ever have. And then you build from there. See what I'm saying? Alright, let's move on to your guide. Try not to take everything so seriously. This is the card I like to call the Why So Serious card. Loki, the trickster, the prankster. A lot of times, yes, Loki did what he did out of just being mean-spirited, And it's no doubt that many of Loki's antics do end up leading to great and terrible things. However, Loki's antics also led to the creation of Thor's hammer Mjolnir, Freyr's ship, which folds up so small you could fit it into a pocket, Lady Sif's new hair, which he owed her, because that's what led to that whole thing. But you see, Loki is a sort of a compulsion, he's a compulsion-driven prankster. He just really can't help himself. But that's what I'm saying. Try not to take everything too seriously. I mean, Loki really didn't. And oftentimes, and this needs to be said, he tended to save the gods more than he got them into trouble, or just as much as he got them into trouble. So, let's see how we do that. What do we emulate in nature? Just tend to the little things. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, not everything has to be an epic action. Not everything has to have an audience. Not every good deed you do needs to be known wide and far. Remember, let's just say that we're in a simulation here, right? Let's say that this is a big tabletop game and we're all the little miniatures moving around on maps. In most of those games, you want that bard to go out and sing of your deeds far and wide. But the fact is, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes it's better to be completely unknown. That way, no one ever sees you coming. And then you can get more of what you need. Sometimes it's best to be that small thing just out of the way. Sometimes it's best to just be unnoticed. So that when you are noticed, it's a surprise to everyone. How do you do that? Well, again, we're getting reiteration on that point of you don't have to be the hero today. It's going to start by that feeling like you're just left out of things, like you're not in the loop, like you're not being included for some reason, and that's okay. Because when it comes right down to it, sometimes being out of certain things means you don't have any responsibility in the matter. So when someone else screws it up, well, guess what? You don't have any fault in that. You weren't around for that. See what I mean? So we're going from magician to magus. Now this is a key component. This is something you need to know about, because the magician in reverse in this case, in this context, does mean that you've got time. You've got time to prepare and figure out what you need to do and how you're going to go about doing it. And that's the most important thing, is how do you go about doing it? And it's because not every situation must absolutely be mothered to death. This is a part where you take your creation, you take your contributions, those little things you do, those little things that without them, they wouldn't be possible. And you just pretend like it's no big deal. Oh, I do that. That's just something I do. Thank you for the compliment, but that's just something I do. Just one of my things. Want me to teach you how? I'll show you. It's pretty easy. That kind of like really level approach, that unassuming approach is going to be everything. And finally, I'm not surprised at all, because the first thing that you have to do is that feeling of being left out in the cold needs to come with a bit of a higher perspective. You're going to have to take the bird's eye view. You're going to have to zoom out and see the picture as a whole. It's also going to take, and I'm not surprised that these cards line up the way they do, because the Hermit tells you you're going to have to do a little retreat and recharge. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not do a live stream this weekend because, honestly, I needed to take care of a few things, and I really wanted to play 4 Against Darkness. And I played it. From the time I got done with my little duties that I needed to perform, like, taking care of some things here around the crib, from that time, from setup to finishing cleanup, I wrapped about 30 minutes before my Horde Wars game. I got to spend an entire Saturday where I got to play. And that was so much fun to me. It was so good. And I can't wait to share the results of it with you. It's going to take some time, though. Now, this week, you are going to need to take some time to rest, relax, and recharge. If that means turning everything off, turn everything off. If it means just kind of sitting and watching your favorite show, sit and watch your favorite show. I can tell you right now, I just got my hands on Northern Exposure, all 6 seasons. It's a show I've enjoyed since I was a kid. I love that show. It is great. Such an eccentric cast of characters that I kind of wish that it were an RPG, and I'm kind of glad that it's not. And there are some people in there that remind me of people I know. Like Chris reminds me of Brian over at Fixed Air Moon. And if you haven't gone to his channel and checked out his stuff, I recommend you do. It's pretty good. And Brian's the guy who got me started in YouTube. For better or for worse, he got me started into YouTube. So anyway, yeah, go check out that channel. I think you'll find it really interesting. And finally, speaking of which, start taking note of your intuitive messages that are coming through with this moon. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not above intuition. You are not above that. It's not something that's closed off to you. When you hear that small, still voice in the back of your head tell you something, do it. Because your intuition will never guide you in a path that's wrong. Finally, let's get down to the runes. So let's draw on that. Let's draw on. Actually, you know what? For the eagle, I want to draw on the angels and ancestors cards today because I think that's going to be more important. Because that's really the best message we got. And I really want to give you with Uruz, the Aurochs, or strength of the Aurochs. It is going to take a particular brand of strength for you to really take the time to look at things from a different perspective, a much higher perspective. Not a lower perspective, not a woe is me perspective. And if you've been on that kind of kick lately, maybe it's time to knock it off. Finally, over here on the Hermit, for some reason the Hermit is telling us that movement is key. But how can you move if you do not take a moment to be still? You can't move forever, but your movement can be spawned from this moment. Your movement from Ivaz, your movement forward is going to depend on your ability to tune into that little still small voice in your head, in your heart, and move forward with it. And then finally, for the moon, when it says take note of intuitive messages, we also have Perthro. And Perthro is letting you know you've been here before. You know exactly what to do. And it may not be the exact situation, but it's similar. And you've done it, you know where to go with it, and you know what to do with it. So to sum up, it's really going to take you compromising. It is going to take you recognizing that the more tightly you're holding on to things, the more you're helicopter parenting the situation, the worse it's going to be. You're going to have to learn to let go of some things. You're going to have to learn to tell yourself, you know what? This matters, this doesn't. And I can move with that. When you focus on what matters, what doesn't, what is not important, what is trivial, what is small. The small things you do will matter. But there will be small things, trivial things that do not matter. And you need to learn to let go of them. There's a time for nuance, but there's a time for what's most important. You need to see the overall today. And through this week. Learn to zoom out, see the bigger picture, and learn where you can spot an opportunity to absolutely shine as that moon does. You may very well be the light in the darkness that's coming forward. Really learn to exercise those powers, Magus, because your day is coming. It's just not right now. You still got a little bit of a river of shit to crawl through before you come out on the other side clean and smelling like a rose. And I'm not kidding. So take that chance. Spot those opportunities. Take advantage of them. You'll see exactly where you're going. So, there will be a live stream this week. We're going to spend a couple hours just hanging out. I hope that you'll hang out with me. Just remember, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And forget about the little things. Sometimes they don't matter, but tend to your small things. And as always, shine on.